NBA Today. Warriors have the best shooting lineup. The Golden State Warriors have come a long way since their inception in 1946 to become one of the NBA's most successful teams. After losing in the NBA Finals in 2007 and 2011, the Warriors have won back-to-back titles for the first time since 1975. The Warriors have won a total of 6 NBA titles and 7 conference championships thanks to the efforts of numerous All-Stars. The majority of this lineup consists of players who have worn the Warriors' colors since 2015, which should come as no surprise. In that time, a player has emerged as the game's best shooter, a power forward with unparalleled impact on offense and defense, and a player who happens to be among the game's all-time greats from behind the arc, and a former league MVP who showed up out of the blue to lead them to 2 titles and 2 Finals MVP awards. Champions are celebrated, and so are legends who didn't play a direct role in those victories. The Golden State Warriors have compiled their best plays, drawing from one of the league's deepest play pools. As I watched Steph Curry and the Warriors win their 4th NBA championship in 7 years, I couldn't help but wonder, is this the most lethal collection of three-point shooters the league has ever seen? But then I wondered if perhaps they've improved upon themselves. In fact, not too long ago, even Draymond Green was able to make jump shots from 30 feet out like he was playing in a rec league. If you put Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the same team, they're going to be talked about as one of the best shooting teams ever. The thing is, I have no idea. It's hard for me to put into words how dangerous the Warriors were from 2017 to 2019. But if we're talking about the NBA right now, I challenge you to name a team from the other 29 in the league and convince me that they have a more dynamic shooting team than the Warriors. All right, do it. It's been a while, and I'm still waiting. And while you're doing that, let me say a few words to set the stage. This Klay Thompson guy sat out nearly 3 full seasons of the NBA and has been playing it safe this year. I mean, really. Having suffered the 2 worst possible lower body injuries, any athlete would be understandably mentally unsettled. Oh, to refresh your memory, last season he still made 38.5% of his 3-point attempts overall, and nearly 40% from 25 to 30 feet out. When compared to his best season, in which he shot 44% from deep, his percentage from 3-point ranges of 22 to 25 feet drops to 50%. And so, why am I revealing all this to you? Just so you know that the NBA's second best shooter will get to play an entire season for the first time after spending the entire offseason preparing for 82 games. Even though Klay Thompson's best shooting days are behind him due to his lengthy injury layoffs, I still think he's the NBA's second deadliest 3-point threat when given the opportunity. Why have I not mentioned the man who has reimagined what it means to be the greatest shooter ever when discussing licensed killers? I mean, come on, Steph is Steph. Surely there's no need for me to elaborate. To put it simply, as long as he is on the Warriors roster, they will be a serious title contender. Now let's talk about a guy who's on the verge of becoming the NBA's biggest star. When Jordan Poole became eligible for a max contract in July, the Warriors would have given him one without hesitation if Steph weren't hogging all the attention. When the Warriors lost the 2019 NBA Finals to the Toronto Raptors, they had a late first-round pick in the following year's draft, 2019. Considering how talented and skilled this team already is, few were interested in seeing who the Warriors would choose with the number 1 overall pick. That pick was Jordan Poole, and the Warriors' 2020 season was shockingly bad given their recent track record. So Poole saw limited action off the bench before we learned of the pandemic in March of 2020. More recently, 2 seasons ago, Poole had a more impressive campaign, one in which he played more minutes per game and increased his scoring average to over 12 points per game. And of course, last season was Jordan Poole's coming out party for the world to get a taste of who he is and exactly what he means for this development, for this revived Warriors dynasty that appeared to be dead in the water just a year earlier. However, the development of Poole's game from year 1 to year 3 is of greater interest to me. Basically, every advanced stat last season went through the roof for Poole. From the three-point percentage, to their field goal percentage, to their offensive plus-minus win shares, Poole played the best basketball of his career for his team during a 19-game stretch beginning on March 3, 2022, and ending on April 10, 2022, and was arguably the most explosive scorer in the entire NBA during that time. I am referring to a scoring average of 26.6 points per game, and a percentage of 42% from beyond the arc, 84 of 197. In percentage terms, that equates to 42.6% when multiplied by 3. Do you know that in a span of 19 games he attempted nearly 200 threes, and nearly 43% of them went in? A year ago, this player was only getting 19 or 20 minutes per game. How did he, as a guy who started about 60% of the games last season, but came off the bench for the other 40%, pull stuff off that only the best players in the world can and are allowed to do? That's why I'm right, by the way. Before, I challenged you to name an NBA team with a more potent shooting trio than the Warriors. Forget that. I have a better question for you. Who in the NBA has a third option who can make nearly half of his 200 shots in a month? Which group? Even more impressively, Poole didn't just carry the momentum into the postseason and into the first 3 postseason games of his career, but he also helped lead the charge for an unremarkable stretch of the regular season. More than Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, and Magic Johnson combined, Jordan Poole scored 86 points. They won all 3 of their playoff openers. Even I was taken aback by the Michael Jordan illusion, and he actually shot 42 times across all 3 games, making 28 of them. For lack of better data, I'm going to say that Poole's first 3 playoff games were among the best in sports history, and nobody seems to be discussing it. I said what I said in an earlier video because the Warriors will have to deal with both Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins' expiring contracts at the end of the upcoming season. Even though they might end up keeping both, Poole, who just turned 23, has a chance to quickly become one of the NBA's best players in his age group. You can't look past the Golden State Warriors if you want to know which team in the NBA has the best outside shooting ability. Still. And if you come armed with that kind of versatility from the perimeter and have 3 guys that can hit 10 or more threes on any given night, especially in the NBA of today, you are a force to be reckoned with and are very much at an advantage when it comes to making deep championship runs in the postseason. That's it for today's video, guys. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more NBA content like this.